Storm clouds are arising in Chicago in the latest episode of Power Book 4, episode 4, season 1. This one is in fact called Storm Clouds. We had some returns from the original Power show in this, but they didn't last long, and we'll get to them a wee bit later on. But we do kick off this episode. We're at the barber shop. Gennard, he's not really too impressed with his brother's handling of the situation with Tommy. And where's this beef going? Well, it turns out he actually let his brother beat him in that boxing match. So there's probably a power play at hand here, and I could say Gennard definitely getting killed by Tommy later on this season. But the youngest member of the crew, it's like, who's he? Well, of course, if you were keeping a close eye on this show, you know he would be JP's son. So yeah, Tommy then tasks Luciana to look into Walter Flynn's daughter, Claudia. So he thinks that she's doing something behind Daddy's back, and he's right. She absolutely is, of course. But, I mean, what's this really going to do? We'll have to wait and see. Claudia then meets with some, jobber. This, Mexican guy. Looks like this could be another way of getting, a new drug shipment in. Tommy then meets with the top dollar Diamond Jackson. In this diner, there's, a funny scene where these three are, sitting down, and Walter Flynn's son, he arrives, Victor, and they both order coffees, and the black guys that own the diner aren't too happy. They go out in their wee rant, which it was a funny wee scene here in the diner. I did enjoy this. Walter's then second in command guy, and it turns out he's got a son. He meets him under this junkie bridge, literally a junkie bridge, and gives him money so he can buy supplies. And it's like, what are we doing? Well, I say supplies, buy gear, buy drugs, not supplies. And it just begs the question. It's like, this guy's one of the top men in Walter Flynn's organisations, and he's just giving this guy the money for drugs. Very weak. I can definitely see Walter finding out about this and demoting him or something, or his son getting him killed. It's the fact he's in a business where he's selling drugs. It's like, why are you giving your son the scene was weird, didn't really do anything for me. Gennard, Victor and Tommy then head to the shipyard, but then one of Gennard's guys, Diamond heads with him. Gennard's one of his guys phones up and says, the police are there, get out of there. And it turns out they were right, the police were there. Obviously, because Diamond just got out, he's like, damn, there's a cop after me. This ain't looking good, son. And it ain't looking good, but Diamond and Gennard are butting heads now. He's like, oh, I never told you about that. You three would have been in jail, sort of talk going on here. Victor then gets told by his dad. His dad's like, you're pissing over the Flynn legacy, son. You're pissing over it. Tommy Flanagan here, pure burying his son. Rightfully so. I mean, if his dad doesn't want him to, mess up the bloodline, he wants him to marry Irish people. And Big Victor's jobbing out. You can see definitely why Walter Flynn's angry here. And, it ain't even a case of... but then, that's the problem, though. It's he doesn't want him to marry a white American. Even, he doesn't want him to marry any blacks, any Hispanics, any white Americans. It needs to be a white Irish person that can continue the bloodline. But the thing about this is, it's how many white Irish people are floating about Chicago? Actual Irish? Because at the end of the day, these two aren't, I guess these two are Irish, but again, I think Walter Flynn should look to direct his business back to Ireland in order to get that gimmick going a lot. Tommy and Walter then meet again. There's a couple of shots back and forth. He's like, you gotta let your son make his own choices. And he's like, it's my bloody blood, brother. But yeah, how's this going to go down between Tommy and Walter? Who's going to be the guy to kill Walter? Of course he is dying. I think he's got, bronchitis or whatever the hell that's called. We'll have to wait and see. Tommy then goes back to JP's house. And JP's father's there, of course. This is JP's father. Therefore, he's kind of in a weird way related to Tommy because they've obviously got the same mother. So yeah, this is actually funny and wholesome scenes, actually seeing Tommy get on with someone. Because I think the way this show will go, I don't see a way in which JP is ever going to betray him. I don't think he'll care about JP anywhere near as much as other people he's cared about in the franchise. But yeah, my money would be safe betting on JP. Absolutely. But while this is all going down, Luciana ends up getting kidnapped by the Serbs. They're demanding where's their drugs, and it's the Serbs. The Serbs are surely all dead. The Serbs have to be all dead. Big Peter. And that guy for season 3, episode 10, him, the guy that liked eating people or whatever, surely he's done for. No, 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 no. They're not done for because Tommy receives a text message from Luciana saying, bring Ghost to this location. So they think they're getting the drugs back. Tommy ends up killing a few of their guys. Then he's forced into meeting with the leader, and this is Petrana, or something. She's some Serbian woman. Who, of course, if you remember, when Tommy was about to be killed all the way back in what I believe it was season 3 when they had him over the graves and he managed to get himself spared, she is the one that advocated for him to be spared. But then in this scene here, we just see Tommy completely, he's like, yeah, well, you know what, you made a mistake, and he kills her. And essentially all these Serbs get killed this episode. Like, I'm not saying there's an entire history here of like the Serbs being in power, which I guess there is, but it's like they bring these characters back, this woman who was in the original Power show, just to kill her off in the same episode. They bring her back. This wasn't needed for me. I don't really understand what was the point of this. We also had Luciana, who was obviously, under attack from the Serbs. She was at Diamond's barber shop, and Big Gennard pays her back the $8,000 that he owed her, and because of that, she's like, you can touch my scar on my face now. Pretty weird scene, but here. Who cares, brother? Who really cares? And that is pretty much where this episode ends. Looks like Claudia's getting in herself deep with the drugs on her end. But yeah, Tommy comes out on top. A lot of dead bodies, a lot of dead Serbs. It's kind of wrapped up that storyline that, in my opinion, didn't really need wrapped up. I don't really like. Why did it just didn't need to happen this episode? Like you've established, right, that there's this new crew. You've got the Flynns, led by Tommy Flanagan, Big Walter Flynn. You've got the new crew with Gennard and his brother. I just don't understand the need to whip out the Serbs like they did here. I don't get it. But in terms of an episode rating, it's probably one of the weaker episodes of this spin-off so far. Going to get a 6 out of 10. It wasn't like bad. It was still a good episode. I just don't really see the sense of this whole mini story arc with the Serbs this episode. That's just it for me. But anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down below. That is it for Power Book 4. We'll be back very soon with some more content. Of course, we're almost at the halfway point of this show. And if you have seen our feed about a month ago by the time it's confirmed for Season 3, so looking forward to it. But until next time, your thoughts down below, and peace. Give me a hell yeah.